I kind of want to make this as brief as possible. I was reading or really listening to a book, Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. And he was, he kind of like in the book mentioned the culture of honor. For black people, I'm just going to call it the culture of respect. The people downtown Atlanta, hood culture. The culture of respect, and why respect is so important. And so, to sum it up really quickly, it's all about the security of your person, your property, and economic opportunity. That is it. You want to know anything about the culture of honor, and where I think, the culture of honor is probably affected the general culture of America, and then in particular, the culture of Black America, because in some ways, in some places, you may be living under the same conditions. And then, of course, there's regional differences, because East Coast culture is not the same as some Midwest culture, which is definitely not the same as Southern culture or Western culture in the United States. People in California don't do things like they do in New York, and people in Chicago don't do things like they do in Atlanta, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there are slight regional differences, but the concept is the same. So the better respected you are, the safer you are. The safer your property is, and the more economic opportunities that you have. One of the things that DMX used to say is that he could go down to the hood in New York and walk around and be safe where some other rappers couldn't. DMX is highly respected in the hood. I do believe all across the country. I can't be for sure, but I know in New York, absolutely. And he can go down to those places with his gold chain on, and et cetera, whatever. And nobody was gonna mess with DMX. He was DMX. Very respected. So he was physically safe. His property was safe. He was well known. He was in the street. He was good. That's all I'm gonna tell you. And really, that's what it's all about. And DMX may have been respected, well respected, before he even became a rapper. I don't know, because I'm not into DMX like that. I don't study people's histories like that. But I just wanted you to get an understanding, because there's some people out there that don't have an understanding. Now, some cat named Cavario, who used to be a drug dealer, says like the culture has changed now. Cavario, I guess he's the editor of Don Diva magazine. I don't even know if that still exists. Society's changed, in some regards, and so you don't have to respond to every slight, anything that you may feel disrespected. You don't have to. The overall society may not, in general, is just not that dangerous as it once used to be, where law enforcement was weak, and then there was Jim Crow laws, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm not going to delve into it, because I don't really know enough. But I do understand the culture of respect is really about security and economic opportunity. And that's kind of like, if you filter that the way they act, and why, when I challenge them, they can't appear to look weak. If you look weak, you can't protect yourself, and then that means you're getting challenged all the time, and and you're going to have to constantly prove and assert yourself. No one's got time for that. But if you're well respected, you won't even have to go through all that. So there's that. And that's what that's about. And for those people that say they should get a job, some people aren't built for certain careers. Their personalities just don't operate well in those arenas. I am one of those people. I don't operate well under micromanagement. I don't operate well under managers. I'm not particularly deferential. You know, that's a greater American society thing, but then, you know, in some cases, I think it gets amplified a little more when it comes to Black America. Or I could be wrong there. People can be deferential when they're worried about their economic stability, and you know, I need to keep my job. But I think, you know, at some point, push to shove, you know, sometimes people don't care. Screw this job, and you're not going to be disrespectful to me. You're not going to disrespect me. I can lose this job. I don't care. And I kind of fall into, I'm not particularly deferential. I don't recognize your social status the way you think I should. I can understand that you have social status, but, you know, I don't care. I can understand that you're my employer and I'm obligated to mostly do what you say. See, like, I'm not going to do everything that you say if it doesn't make any sense. Like, we're finished cleaning up the warehouse. We're finished doing whatever we need to do in the warehouse, and now you want me to pick up a broom and sweep the warehouse because there's nothing to do. And I'm doing that so you can get your 2-3 hours. And I tell you, nah, man, you can keep that 2-3 hours. I'm ready to leave. And you just don't like that. And you're like, you either do this or you're fired. And I'd be like, deuces. Because I don't care. I'm not particularly deferential. You know, Black people are real quick to say, listen, you're not better than me. And trust me, they mean it. You hear a Black person utter anything quite like that, you're not better than me, they mean it. They mean it wholeheartedly. You're not better than me. And they don't care what your social status is. Social status in America, for the most part, is money, because we don't care about your lineage. Not at all, for the most part. I mean, if you got a lineage in the hood, like you're from this family and this family's solid, you know, you can get something from that. But if you try to press that advantage too much, you'll hear somebody say, I don't care about his advantage. I don't care about dude. I don't know who dude think he is, right? He ain't nobody. He ain't better than me. He ain't nobody. That's people not recognizing your social status. As compared to, you know, some Asian countries, they do recognize, it's so well baked into how they do things. It's just, you'd be surprised. I'm gonna tell you to watch Malcolm Gladwell, or listen to or read Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers. You can look up The Culture of Honor. You can look up The Legacy of Culture and how enduring it is and how it affects decisions. How the legacy of culture and being deferential has actually caused quite a few plane crashes because of miscommunications. And people, like, one problem on top of another problem on top of another problem, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You have to read the book for that. It'll make more sense. But that's all I got for you. That's all I got for you. I thought if you wanted to understand, you know, why the people act down there the way they do, that is a quick and simple explanation. Security and economic opportunity. Stop.